You're a cantaloupe.
5 long years he wore this watch up his ass.
These are my cactuses. I put googly eyes on them.
Sometimes when I'm driving, I have this sudden impulse to turn the wheel quickly, head on into the oncoming car.
Peter Pan has found a mother.
You want me to say what? Like, I don't get it. Is that it?
The ice is gonna break!
All right. Welcome back to another edition, another episode of Walken 101, the podcast where we watch every Christopher Walken project in chronological order. That could be movie, TV show, play, whatever we can get our hands on. I'm Kenny Johnson, documentary filmmaker, editor, and I think the wrong two Beatles died. I think John and George should be alive and Paul and Ringo should be dead.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. Like, you never really know. I remember heard this comedian do a bit where we imagine where all these amazing artists would be that they've passed away, but you don't know. They could be kind of selling out at the age of 70, like Jimi Hendrix. Where would he be today? But who knows? Maybe he's like performing at like a halftime show at the Rose Bowl, and everyone's lost respect for him. So you never know. But that is a bold statement.
No, I think the wrong two Beatles died.
I think you're probably right. I'm Brandon Hardesty, actor, video maker, and I think Altoids are the best mint. I think there's no competition. I think
they're very strong.
They're strong. They do what they need to do. You don't fuck around with any other flavors, and you get a tin that you can put things in. I've been on sets where sound people have put their lavaliers in the tins.
What a bunch of bums. Go out and buy a box, like an actual thing to put your mic in.
Well,
freaking bums.
They're working.
What do you prefer, spearmint, or do you prefer the peppermint kind? I don't like. You like the peppermint?
I think spearmint's horse shit. I think peppermint is the way to go all the time.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So what did we watch today?
We watched Last Embrace, and it starred Roy Scheider.
Or Roy Schneider.
Scheider. There's no N.
Schneider.
I know you're trying to go extra Jewy with it. It's just Scheider. And it's 1979 thriller. It was marketed as a thriller. And Christopher Walken was in it for maybe a minute and 38 seconds. That's my
feels like
guess.
We went backwards a little bit.
We did. It feels like...
Because Deerhunter so big?
Yeah, Deerhunter was huge, and chronologically, I don't know what was filmed when, but Deerhunter was released around February of 1979, like nationwide, and this was released a few months later in May. So, you know, people really excited about Walken, Academy Award winner, Roy Scheider, Academy Award nominee.
Jaws.
Other
things?
For Jaws.
French Connection?
French, I'm not sure.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, he was a name back then.
And yes, I mean,
Trainwreck.
Yeah, this was pretty bad.
We'll get. Oh, trust me, we'll get into that. But we've been off for a little bit.
Yeah. We haven't seen each other in about a month.
Yeah,
we had a lot going on, and then the holidays came along, and
so much stuff.
Threw a wrench and stuff.
So much stuff. I guess before we get too far into what we've been doing, because we've both been doing a lot, we should do our little shout outs.
That's right. We have excuse me. We have some shout outs to do, and a new patron who we are currently recording a behind the scenes video for right now.
Yep. This
is the video for an audience of one. Thank you, Skeletor P Funk. Which I don't think it's your real name. But thank you so much for the donation, for the support. We usually make a pun with their name about how they're wasting their money on our podcast. So.
I mean, Skeletor. What else can you say? His name is Skeletor.
I mean, like he's funking his money down the toilet.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, right.
We'll think of something.
It's the best I could do.
We'll think of something.
And also, Doug Heavener, Dougie boy,
Doug. What would we say? Just heaving the money away.
Heaving the money away. And Tom Byrne,
It's an easy one.
Burning the money away. Thank you.
Burning those dollar bills.
Thank you guys so much for your support and all of our other patrons.
Yes.
So those were our walking shout-outs. And now we move on to a segment
Yes.
aptly titled A Walkin' in Our Shoes.
Correct. And like we've said, it's been almost a month, I believe. By the time this episode will come out, it's been a month since we've hung out, but we recorded Deerhunter before our break.
Mm-hmm.
A lot has happened in both of our lives. Where were you? Where have you been?
All right, I went to Los Angeles for a couple weeks, and I had a job in a commercial. It's for a solar panel company called LA Solar Group, and it was 3 days of shooting. It was actually really challenging. It was fun. It was a little frustrating at times for a variety of reasons, but it was still a good experience. I played like 6 different characters. The director was a fan of my reenactments that I did, so we did this thing where I played all the characters, talking to myself, a few movie references in there. So the hope is that this commercial, we'll put it on. The company will put it on the internet, and if it does well, goes viral, as they say, then they'll want to do more. So, and besides that, while I was there, I finished writing a project with my writing partner. We wrote a pilot for a TV series, and we're kind of trying to work on a final draft of it. And other than that, I had an audition, met with some casting directors. It was a nice, productive 2 weeks. It was cool. And then came back and just busy with the holidays.
Yeah, these holidays both fell on the weekend.
Yep.
Which was hard because it's just like I try to do everything. I work during the week and then try to catch up on things on the weekend. But of course, everything is closed, and
yeah,
that was a big pain. Big pain. So you're out in California doing 6 roles.
What?
You were out?
Yeah.
Doing 6 roles in that one commercial.
So I thought that was like some drug talk. Like you doing some roles.
Doing some roles.
You roll. I don't know why.
That's why you like the Altoid bins, because that's where you put your drugs. See?
And you know what? That is perfect. That is a perfect little heroin kit. I'm sure.
So yeah. So you played multiple roles in the commercial. Right.
I did. There was one role that I made like a test video. So the writer director sends me a script, and I just put together like a test video for him to just I did this in a day, and I just sent it to him, and he goes, yeah, that's great. That's what I'm looking for. But there was one particular role where he told me to do it kind of differently, and then when we got to shooting it, I was still having trouble trying to feel out what he wanted. And after the first day, he's like, let's scrap that. Let's do it another way. Mm-hmm. Then I started doing it this other way. Then we didn't like that. That wasn't working. So halfway through the shoot, every time I played this one character named Pedro, I just did it in 4 different ways. And by the end of the commercial, he was like, we'll find Pedro in the editing room. So
interesting. Does that make you a little nervous?
It does, and of course, the whole time as I'm doing it, I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
I feel like my first interpretation that didn't work because something we were doing affected it, and it was very confusing, and that was a frustrating part. Mm-hmm. There were other things that were also slightly frustrating, but I liked the challenge, like him giving me a monologue like on the spot and rehearsing it and getting it down in like 2 to 3 minutes and then filming it.
Wow.
Or trying to, or trying to get a monologue down right before the sun goes down because we were losing light.
Right.
And we have 5 minutes left before the sun descends over the mountains. So there was like a lot of, it felt like an independent film shoot too. It was very like high pressure, like let's just get this done.
I did see pictures of you dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
Cross-dressing.
Yeah, there was...
Getting in touch with your feminine side.
Yeah, one of my characters was like a mother, and it was a husband and wife, and the scene is them at a dinner table getting the solar bill, and the father's like, solar panels, they cost a fortune. And then it cuts to the wife character, and it's... I guess it's hard to explain, I guess.
Right. I have to wait to see it.
You have to wait to see it, I guess. I'm also and I'm also a little foggy from not only this movie, but I'm recovering from a cold.
This movie just kicked our asses today.
It did.
It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
So so you went to China, right?
I did go to China, and I made it back in one piece.
Yeah.
At least I think. Okay, so China. Yeah, China was a very interesting trip. This is basically how this trip came about. I do these small promotional documentaries for this wrestling company named Evolve, the independent wrestling company. Their parent company, which kind of owns them, as well as a variety of other promotions across North America, called WWN. They got they had this opportunity to bring over mixed martial arts to China, MMA. They're going to bring over 6 fighters, and they're going to promote and have these fights. The fights are actually going to be in the Beijing Olympic Stadium, so it's a pretty big thing. And they wanted me to go along and document it, basically make a documentary of the adventure. The guys going over there.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I was getting myself into at all. Like, literally, didn't know at all.
China sounds pretty fucking scary. Like
extremely scary. Extremely scary. You when you're flying over there, it's like a 14-hour flight. You lose a day, so they're 12 or 13 hours ahead of us. So 8 o'clock at night is 8 a.m. here back at home, and it's just very hard to you always have to kind of plan things, trying to communicate with people that way. On the flight over there, it's just it's a long, brutal flight. We get close to landing, and they're walking around. The stewardess are walking around. They're passing out. I believe they are. It's not like a visa or anything, but it's like an important thing. If you're visiting China, you have to fill it out. This information saying how long you're staying for, flight that you came in on, all this stuff. And I don't know, I needed that or anything, so I'm just kind of just sitting there. And then the lady who was next to me, she was from China, and she kind of helped me out. She's like, no, you need this and this and that. The whole Chinese experience was extremely bizarre.
Okay.
Extremely bizarre. First off, everybody smokes, or a lot of people smoke, and they all smoke inside.
Okay.
So just get used to just smelling cigarette smoke all the time. You wake up in the morning in the hotel, and you just that lovely aroma is just seeping through the walls. Everybody drinks hot water over there.
Really?
Yeah. It's really weird. And
is that an attempt to drink water that has no bacteria in it?
I'm not entirely sure. Everything was in a bottled water, and not a lot of people drank water. It was just usually hard liquor and beer, maybe some tea.
Okay.
And so we would just constantly be like, can we just get water? Can we get ice? Does ice exist in this country? I roomed with, and I mentioned him before on this podcast, his name is Matt Riddle. He's a former UFC fighter. Mm-hmm. He was going over there to help promote. He's actually a pro wrestler now. And super laid back dude, long blonde hair. And everywhere we went, Chinese women and men would stop and say, can I get a picture with you, Matt? They thought he was like some type of celebrity, and he kind of was. He kind of was like a superstar.
Right. But they didn't even know who he was. Just the fact that he was this beautiful, white,
blonde, big,
man.
Muscular dude. And I roomed with him, and we are complete polar opposites. He's like this party dude, very laid back, bro, borderline kind of frat dude.
Yeah.
But we just felt like we kind of bonded a little bit, kind of made a new friend. It was funny because I'm more the laid back guy, and I want to go back to the hotel and sleep and relax, but he wants to go out and party and drink and have a fun time.
Yeah.
So, but at times he'd be like, okay, I guess I got to go back and rest.
Yeah.
With Kenny. And it's because we got a long day ahead of us promoting and all these other things. But he was a little bit more outgoing, so it helped me kind of get a little outgoing as well. So it was a nice little kind of cool. we fed off each other.
And something that people may not know about you is that you are, would you describe yourself as straight edge? I don't know if that's I don't really drink or smoke. I don't have anything against people that do. Yeah.
But Matt.
But you don't drink or smoke or do any kind of drugs at all. Like,
no.
You're just sober all the fucking time.
Yes, unless I'm exhausted.
Unless you're exhausted.
Does that count? If you're exhausted and that's like a form of being drunk or something, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt was great. He's hysterical. These fighters that we went out with, they're just crazy people as well. I mean, they drank a lot and they partied a lot. There's times when they would go out at night and roll down steps, just flights of stairs, just roll down the steps.
Just on purpose.
On purpose, yeah.
All right.
And scream, get into fights. Just, it was crazy. It was complete madness. The company we went with was fantastic. They took us out to dinner and lunch, and I'm talking like 5-star meals every single day. It was incredible food, incredible.
Nice.
Some of it's a little intense, duck head, things like that. You're just like, well, hey, I'm in China. I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for it. What's in this soup? It's got some blood in it. Sure, why not? Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah. It was intense. It was definitely intense, but I had a blast. It's a bizarre world over there. It's very different. They're very restricted on a lot of things. Internet. They can't get on Google, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. So you're very much kind of almost cut off from the world. And, everyone speaks a different language. And you just kind of just go in and say, hey, I'm here. Let's just try it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
We got to a point, I think we were driving down the road. We had chauffeurs and translators with us at all times. And we get to a point where it looked like there was an accident or something. It was on this little small 2-lane kind of highway. And all these trucks were backed up and just stopped. And the drivers were out walking around like trying to figure out what's going on. And we were like, is this a way station? What's going on here? And it looked like it went on forever. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 cars in our little kind of group. And we decided, well, let's just turn around and drive the opposite way on the highway to get away from this whole mess. And we did. No laws in China, I guess. They don't care.
Wow.
I mean, the driving is insane. I mean, they cut people off, drive on the shoulder. They'll go to the very, very end of like all this traffic and cut everybody off to get into the exit that they need to get into. Cut across 4 or 5 lanes. Madness. It was madness while driving. And I got a lot of footage. I literally just let the camera roll the entire time.
Cool.
I have no idea what documentary I'm going to get out of this. Zero.
And so when you have a deadline, like when do you have to get something together to turn in?
The fight isn't until March 18th, so I'm going back. They didn't actually have fights. The fights were postponed. So we just went over there. We met with the Chinese government.
Right.
Was on the news. Now, Matt, long blonde hair, bro-like dude, walking in and meeting like government officials and trying to promote this was hysterical because the first thing it came out of his mouth was, hey, I'm super stoked to be here. And I'm just so curious to hear how the translator translated that.
Yeah.
Super stoked to be here in China. Dude, I love China. It's awesome. I just can't wait. Bro, it's just going to be so much fun.
Bro.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I absolutely love him. But yeah, that was China Part 1.
All right, so you're going again in a few months.
Yeah, and God knows what's going to happen next. It's just chaos, absolute chaos. I mean, I think it's just this documentary is just gonna be me trying to explain why I went to China and hung out with these 6 MMA fighters, and they would. Our hotel had apparently had a brothel on the 3rd floor.
Oh, there we go. They're right next to the ice bucket.
Yep. Well, no ice buckets. No ice in China.
Yeah, no ice bucket.
No ice in China. Next to the cigarettes.
Okay, right next to the cigarette
machine. The best thing in our hotel was a fireproof hazmat suit, because they're convinced everybody smokes that one of these days somebody is going to leave a cigarette going while they fall asleep and burn everything down. So please, in an emergency, put on these like fireproof hazmat suits. Hopefully you won't burn alive.
Wow.
This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a long episode. We're already at the 20-minute mark. We haven't even gotten to the movie yet.
From first kiss to last embrace, all the mystery and fear and terror that love can hold.
I like you, Ellie. You've been damn good for me these past few days. I'm just not a guy anybody should be around right now. That's not you. It's me.
where to start with this.
Would you like to start? Would you like me to start? Because I don't want to start. I don't even want to talk about this. I will say, like we said in our behind the scenes video to Skeletor here, this wasn't the worst experience. It was pretty bad. Like I ended up lying on the floor pretty early, but then you brought some coffee and I ate some potatoes and I got a little bit of a second wind.
Yeah, he really did eat some potatoes. By the way, this isn't a joke. Yeah. He had a little bowl of potatoes, and he
just kind of ate them with my hands and drank some coffee and enjoyed the very over-the-top melodramatic ending to this movie. So Last Embrace, it was this thriller, came out in 1979. Christopher Walken, who this podcast is about.
God, he was in this. He was like in this movie less than
what was the he was in this less than what was the one with the demons in the hotel, fucking the Sentinel.
That movie, the Sentinel.
Yeah, this is the least amount of Walken we got so far, and this is after the fucking Deerhunter. And when you see him, it's only one scene. It looks he's got this ill-fitting suit on. It looks like he was just out promoting for the Deerhunter, and they quickly got him in and just shot for a day and put on a suit that doesn't fit him, and he regurgitated some lines, and they kicked him out.
Really did just regurgitate some lines. He really did just regurgitate. I guess should we talk about the plot? Can we? All right. Can we talk about the plot?
All right.
Let's talk about the plot.
Let's talk about the plot.
I'm so fucking mad now that I'm thinking about this movie. I got really, really angry when we were watching this movie, and I just got angry. I got really angry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was a very silent, and you must have been seething, like boiling.
Oh no!
Underneath.
When we were recording, I was just like towards the end. I was just like trying to explain what the fuck did we just watch. Okay. Yeah. Last Embrace. I'm gonna. There's a Wikipedia page that kind of explains the plot here. All right. This is what you need to know. Poster. Okay. Poster is Roy Scheider, and he is holding on to a woman, and they're over the Niagara Falls, right? He's like holding on to her, and she's like, oh my God. And then you have on the bottom of the poster, right-hand side, there is him and the woman now, they're embracing each other.
Okay.
So it's like, oh man, are they lovers? And then she falls off the Niagara Falls, and he tries to save her. What the fuck is this movie, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and it gets better. We open with Roy. He's sitting at dinner, and these guys show up, and he's like looking back and forth, like, who the fuck are these guys? And then, they're kind of eyeballing each other back and forth. He's with his wife. Roy's with his wife. Mm-hmm. And then these guys pull out their guns, and they go to shoot Roy, and he pulls out his gun, and his wife gets shot. And then then he wakes up. It's been a couple of months later. We think he's in some type of hospital-like place. And this nurse is talking to him saying, listen, you got to take it easy. You went through a very traumatic thing. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, okay, I guess he was a cop. That's what I'm thinking. He's a cop, and maybe like these gangsters showed up and they decided to shoot him. Like, oh, here's the guy who busted us. Let's get him back. No, not fucking all. And we don't fucking get the story until like 30 minutes into the movie. Here's what it says. Government agent Harry Hannon and his wife, okay? Mm-hmm. I think they're in El Paso. He spots an informant he is supposed to meet in a few days. Realizing he is about to be attacked, he shoves his wife to the ground and starts shooting at the informant's companions, who return fire and flee the restaurant. Harry's wife dies in the attack, and he suffers a nervous breakdown. We didn't fucking get any of that in the opening scene, and that is how this entire fucking movie went, because it gets worse from here. It gets fucking worse from here. Okay.
well, at first you think that maybe they're. Now this is what I thought, especially from I watched the trailer before we watched this movie. I thought they were going to go in this direction, kind of like Rosemary's Baby, or like you said, like The Conversation, where there might be some kind of conspiracy, but you're not sure if Roy Scheider's not sure if he's just going crazy, right, or if there are actually people against him. And the way it's presented in the beginning is we're just kind of thrown into this. There are a few kind of paranoid-esque moments where you think, oh, maybe he is crazy. Maybe he is just thinking there's people out to get him, but it's just all in his head. and you think that maybe that first shot was like in his head. It was a fantasy sequence that never happened.
No. It turns out that his wife actually was shot.
His wife actually was shot, and he actually does work for this agency that
it's a government agency. That's all we know.
Yep. Like we see him all of a sudden. He puts a little piece. He puts like a card into a card reader and enters in a code, and then walks in, and he actually is part of some kind of CIA type government agency.
Well, Hannon, this is very embarrassing. You barge in here with some story about somebody trying to shove you off a platform. You see who it was? No. Anybody else see who it was? No. And you half hint we were behind it.
Somebody did it.
Couldn't be. Nobody knew you were getting out.
Very sweet, getting out. You couldn't say coming back.
Whatever you prefer. Look, take it easy for a few days. Get your sea legs back, your reflexes.
Don't be so goddamn understanding, you supercilious son of a bitch. Subletting my apartment, sending me blank assignments, sending me crazy letters. I'm ready to go back right now, and you know it. I may have been on leave for a couple of months, but that doesn't mean
Hannon,
you can...
actually, it was 3.
2.
116 days. There's no need to get snotty.
Eckert, I need work.
Hannon, you had a breakdown. You were in a sanitarium. It wasn't a leave, it was a breakdown. Why do you force me to say these things? Do you honestly think we'd send one of our people up to a railroad station in Connecticut just to push you under a train?
Right. Okay, now scrap all of that.
Okay.
We're going to forget all of that, and then we're going to go into a whole other fucking story.
Wait, why are we going to forget all that, Kenny?
Just fuck it. Okay, just fuck it. Now we got to move it in. This is a fucking romance now. We're going to turn it into a romance. We're going to turn it on its fucking head, and it's going to be a fucking romance now. Roy Scheider goes back to his apartment, okay, and he he's been away. He's been at this sanitarium. I don't know, some type of. He's been rehabilitating after his nervous breakdown. After his wife has been murdered. Okay, goes home and he finds that his apartment has been subletted in some way, and it is now being taken up by this girl who's studying at Princeton University. Her name is Ellie, and so Harry's like, "You got to get out of here. I think somebody's trying to kill me." They end up kind of falling in love.
Right?
Mm-hmm. He almost gets poisoned. He's like taking his nervous breakdown pills, and they're actually cyanide pills. And he knows, like, fuck, this is cyanide.
Does it say that on the prescription? Just nervous breakdown pills?
Yes. Yeah. And then he gets some type of note that's like in Hebrew. And she keeps saying, "Oh, that's a note in Hebrew." And he's like, "Okay, well, how the fuck do you know that?" And then fucking she's like, I know this dude who knows how to fucking read Hebrew. Let's go talk to him, because now we're falling in love. We're gonna go on a train, and then they go to, I guess they go to Princeton, right? And they discover that little letter that was left for Harry that's possibly going to kill him, or somebody's going to kill him. This is Avenger of Blood. Okay, and then all of a sudden, fucking, I went down for coffee at this point, and I come back upstairs, and all this fucking action happened.
Yeah, we didn't think you'd miss much, but I struggled to explain to you what I saw, which was her brother, who
the brother of his first wife, who's fucking dead. Got killed,
and then this older Jewish guy named, what's his name? Aldi's
Sam
Alder Erdel. And he shows up, and he's like this really over the top, not over the top, but he's a Jewish stereotype,
right?
And he starts helping Roy Scheider solve this mystery about who's out to kill him,
right?
And it involves some old brothel. Kenny's rubbing his eyes now
because you're led to believe at one point, okay, maybe the government agency is going to try to kill Roy, and they kind of do at one point, because the brother of his former wife goes to try to kill him, and then they have this duel.
But it's not the government that's after him. It's just the brother independently, because they establish in a scene that Walken fires him. Walken's like the boss of this agency or whatever. They're superior, and he fires. It's implied that he fires this brother character because he shreds like the guy's headshot in a little paper shredder.
Yep. By the way, Christopher Walken's in this movie. You would have never fucking known.
Yeah. I mean, the two scenes he was in, really a scene and a half. He worked on this movie for 3 hours.
Probably.
Like the first half of a day, and then they broke for lunch. He wrapped for the day.
Fucking ridiculous.
At 2 p.m.
Good God. Okay, yeah. Let's get back to the plot. Let's keep trying to fucking work our way through this shit because. All right, yeah. Okay. Okay. All of a sudden, we're in Niagara Falls. This is no joke. This is no fucking joke. All of a sudden, we're in Niagara Falls. Ellie, the student that was kind of helping Roy, she is now a fucking prostitute, and she strangles a man to death in the bathtub.
Yeah. So it turns out that up until then, she's been this kind of mousy, kind of introverted, maybe anthropologist student. So now all of a sudden, she's a prostitute, and she's like spreading her legs for this guy. No, like literally, there's very not woman-like at all. Spreads her legs for this guy, and they get in the bathtub, and she drowns him, and then all of a sudden, she's this Hebrew killer,
Avenger of blood. That's what the Hebrew note was left for Roy.
Okay, but then
why the fuck did she leave the note and help him translate it to then try to fucking kill him? That's what the fucking. That's how the fucking story went.
Yeah, and then I guess in the end they're trying to imply that she. Okay, no, wait a minute. It's revealed. Yeah.
Okay. Oh God.
So we're trying to get behind her motivation. Why is she trying to kill Roy Scheider?
Here it is.
Why is she doing all these murders?
Why is she doing this? Why is she doing it? It's because her grandmother was sold into slavery, like a prostitution ring. By Roy's grandfather.
So it's revenge fucking. Wait, is she fucking all these guys and then killing them, or is she just?
I don't fucking know.
So it's revenge for their grandparents' shit.
Yep. I'm getting you back, Roy, but what happens is she really falls in love.
She falls in love with him. She hesitates. She has a chance to fucking put the car into drive and then ram into him and knock him into Niagara Falls, but she doesn't. She comes out and she goes, "I love you," but then they fight and she kicks him in the nuts, and then there's a chase through the Niagara Falls touristy area. And then so it turns out the poster fucking spoils the end of the movie.
Yep.
It's
brings
like
us back full circle. Okay, yeah, they get into a fight. She gets knocked off the railing into the falls, and he tries to save her, but then he can't, and then drops her and she dies. Roll credits. End of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
There we go.
And
that was the train wreck that we just sat through, and I hope you were just as confused as we are.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I can't imagine that.
Why did this movie exist? What do you think the fucking pitch was for this movie?
The pitch was it was a thriller. I really think that some of these movies, especially nowadays, people pitch them and it's just look, it's not going to make a lot of money, but it'll make enough. It'll just be a quick. I think people do this with horror movies nowadays. It's going to get some cheap thrills. We can make it in fucking Utah for $100,000 and sell it on direct to video. We'll multiply our money by 10 and you sell it on iTunes and put a catchy title and a poster on. I think that this is what it was marketed as, a thriller. Said by Jonathan Demi, the director. It was said to be a dark romance. So sure.
We couldn't find any information on this movie.
Yeah, there was. I tried. There were no interviews. The only video I could find on YouTube was the trailer, and there's no mention of any behind the scenes stuff about this. Not even from Roy Scheider or anything about Christopher Walken, who this is his first movie after winning an Oscar, which presumably he shot the year before and it was already in the can. So this, I mean, it wasn't good.
It was fucking terrible. What are you talking about? It wasn't good. It was terrible. This is probably one of the worst ones. I mean, we watched, what was the Shoot the Sundown?
The Shoot the Sundown
That was pretty bad.
It was bad, and the times I remember us having bad experiences watching these movies are when we are not able to follow the plot. Like even like the Sentinel, I remember we didn't like it, but it wasn't awful up until the point where we couldn't follow it anymore.
Right.
And Shoot the Sundown was incomprehensible after about 10 minutes. This one was like right from the start we were confused. So
it was so bad.
Really tough to trudge through and enjoy it.
Man.
Yep.
I was like wondering like why are we doing this to ourselves?
Yeah. What would you have done with your evening besides if we hadn't have been doing this?
I would have been home probably, doing some housework, cleaning, maybe doing some editing, just working around.
So being productive.
Being productive. This is the least productive thing.
Yeah,
that I could have done with this day, and this is the first day of the new year. This is 2017.
This is a good way to
January 1st.
Bring in the new year. I wouldn't have been productive. I feel like this is more productive than what I would have been doing. I would have played Xbox for about 3 hours. I think that's what I would have done. I would have enjoyed that much more.
Yeah,
I would have just played Battlefield and.
I don't even know how to rank this movie like on our list. Where would we put this? We've watched 13 things now.
Right.
I mean, I put it like above. I mean, I put it below. I put this movie below like Kojak and all the Hawaii Five-O's because those things were at least 45 minutes and they were trash. They were definitely trash, but it was short
and they were easy to follow at least because they were
easy to follow. But this was, I mean, me and my brother.
That was at least like, I mean, it was definitely boring and confusing, but part of it was still kind of engaging because we're trying to figure it out. Right. It's a little bit of like a puzzle.
Yeah, I didn't want to figure this one out. This was just like, they were just hard turn. We're just going to go from this government agency thing. Just making a romance about this Hebrew cult that's trying to kill some bitches.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Shoot the Sundown is the worst one we've watched so far. Like, because
I think this is definitely the worst one we've watched so far.
This one was okay. Just watching it. At least it looks nice. At least it looks like it was, as far as like sound and directing and everything. It looks like it was competently made from a technical stand, and Shoot the Sundown was just fucking garbage in every.
Yeah, and this was Demi, right?
This is Jonathan Demi,
and he went on to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of weird things. He was
Philadelphia.
He was also directed 3 episodes of Saturday Night Live, just random stuff like that. He's done a lot of musical documentaries. He recently did one on Justin Timberlake, like as recently as this last year.
Yeah.
So he's just constantly working on a lot of different weird avenues, and this movie was just like, I felt like this was like a rite of passage. Like, I gotta do this little thriller thing and maybe make some bucks and see if I can direct a movie.
Right, maybe.
I felt like he did as best as he could with the absolute garbage script that was provided.
It's pretty bad dialogue. Yeah,
cringeworthy. Yeah. I just kept like every time it's like, please just go to the next scene. Just cut to the next scene, please. I can't.
There was one scene where you got very angry, which was Roy Scheider is like leaving the apartment, and they do this. I think when they did it, it was going to be like a fun little comic relief moment where he's like leaving, and she's like, "But wait," and then he's like, "What?" And then he never quite can't get out of the apartment, and the camera's panning back and forth, and by like the 4th or 5th pan, I hear you yell out like, "Come on,
just leave! Go to the next scene.
Fucking leave!"
God damn.
Oh, you missed. There was another little kitschy moment where he's sitting with Bernie Sanders, and they're like on a bus. And Bernie Sanders is talking about the cult and whatever, and he goes, we need to check this out or whatever. Roy Scheider is looking at him suspiciously, and he goes, "I'm going to check you out." And then they check him out, like to check his credit, whatever. And the guy's like, "Okay, fine." And then the camera pans back over to Roy Scheider, and he goes, "I will." And then it pans back over to Bernie, and he's like, "You do that." and then a cut.
That
Another little fun moment.
Every single thing about this movie just goes over like a fucking fart in church. It's just like, good Lord. What's the point? What is the point of this movie? She falls off Niagara Falls. Congratulations, Roy. All the women in your life died.
I saw that as soon as he dropped her. He said, "Good job, lost another one, Roy."
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
Like,
everyone you love will die.
Good Lord.
This is a nice uplifting
God
ending. Yeah, it was pretty bad, and I was.
That was a hard one.
That was a hard one.
So hard. All right, so what's next?
Heaven's Gate.
Oh boy,
Heaven's Gate is next. Now, there is some contention here over which version we watch, because isn't there a like a 4.5 hour version of this movie, or 4 hours?
Yes, I believe the theatrical version is.
I'm looking at
okay. There's a version that's 5 hours and 25 minutes long.
Jesus,
I believe. Now, this is also the same director as Deerhunter, and there's some contention between the studio and his final version of the film. I think he went back and recut it into like a 3.5 or 340 some odd minute version, and I believe that is the preferred version.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So runtime. There's a 1981 recut at 149. The original cut was at 219. The director's cut is at 216. The rough cut of the film is 325 minutes. The rough cut was 5 hours long.
Wow.
And they're like, that seems good, right? No. So the preferred director's cut, I think, is 216 minutes. And please, let's watch that version.
All right, yeah.
Or should we do the 5.5 hour version if it exists?
There's no point to do it just because it's longer. I think we should watch the version that is agreed upon to be the best version.
Right.
Yeah, because we're not gaining anything by watching the rough cut and seeing like 2 hours of fucking deleted scenes.
I mean, yeah. Other than torture, a 5.5 hour movie with Christopher Walken in it for like 13 seconds, you know? That sounds about right.
Is he, do we know that?
He's I think he's a big role.
Got a sizable role? Okay,
yeah, he's
good.
The co-star. It's him and Chris Christopherson and
cool.
And John Hurt.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's one. You want to come over next week? We'll watch it.
Yeah.
I have a better couch, by the way. When we watched the Deerhunter, we were on this small, shitty futon because I just moved in and we're still acquiring furniture. But now there's another couch down there. Mm-hmm. It's very comfortable and
awesome. Well, I don't know about this one. Adventure, drama, western. It could be kind of shitty.
Well, it was not. You go in. You see, you go in with this bad attitude, Kenny, every time.
Yeah, I mean, these are fucking terrible movies. These are bad. There's no way around it.
There might be something redeeming. Don't shit on it just because you see it's getting bad reviews already, you know, or everyone agrees it's a piece of shit. You never know.
The issue is that I felt like this movie was probably a pain in the ass to make because it seemed like there was some studio problems, producer problems, and the director was having some issues with it. From what I've heard, it's some type of there's a controversy surrounding this film,
right?
As in the production of it. So that usually is an indication that this could be a terrible movie because there's too many cooks in the kitchen and you're trying to do too much and it's getting screwed up. And, you're trying to, at one point, it's probably trying to be pushed as a romance, but then somebody wants to do more of a Western action type of film. Who the fuck knows?
But now, see, are you going to go in, instead of going in as a blank slate, are you now going to go in thinking, all right, this movie was probably too many cooks in the kitchen, and then you're going to find things in the movie with that preconceived notion, like, this is all over the place, just because you're thinking
that's tough. That's a problem with movie watching and movie going in general. You know, nowadays with things like Rotten Tomatoes, they really do almost kind of set the tone for your expectation of a movie going in.
That is true.
So you're like, oh, this movie got 68% or 32%. It's probably going to be shit, but I'm going to go watch it anyway. You know, like, it's hard. It's really hard to get past that.
It is like I don't. If something's on Rotten Tomatoes and it's less than a certain amount, I guess in my head maybe it's like 70 or 80 or whatever, I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'll watch it if it comes out on Netflix or something.
It
has really affected.
It's really affected a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is. I mean, it seems like it's. I don't really. IMDb has a weird rating scale. They gave it a 6.8 out of 10.
Well, what's our Rotten Tomatoes score for Heaven's Gate? That's a good question.
I don't even know if it does it have one.
Speaking of preconceived notions, this will definitely affect how I see it.
All right, well, you're gonna fall down my trap.
I think so.
Do you want to go down that path?
No. You know what? I don't want to look up the rating for it.
All right, I will then. I'm gonna do it.
All right, fine. All right, tell me what it is.
No. You're not gonna look at it. You're not gonna see it.
All right, you're gonna look at it. I'm gonna turn away. I'm turning away and closing my eyes. And you're just that's gonna be for you. And I'm not gonna look at the Rotten Tomatoes rating because I think it's better to go in with a blank slate and enjoy this movie without any preconceived notions. All right, so
it has an I saw it. It has an interesting rating. I will say that.
An interesting rating.
Right.
All right. Okay. Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna tell you. We're gonna watch it. I know what it is.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything else.
Okay.
Because I want you to experience this.
All right. Blank slate going in. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Not really. I'm kind of excited.
All right. That does it, right? We're about done.
Yeah.
Any other points we got to hit? Any other things we got to hit?
Well, just
do you want to do a secondhand walking, or should we save it for another time? Because I don't even know if this story's accurate. I can't even.
Well, I think it's. I know it's not that colorful and deep of a story, but right. I think it's cool that it's coming from you. Like, this particular story isn't one that's out there,
right?
And it's just a really small little anecdote. And I would like to. There is an amazing secondhand walk-in that I want to save for next week.
Okay.
So give us a really
right. Good secondhand walk-in. All right. I now once again I can't remember if this is a story about him. It could have been a story about somebody else.
I guarantee you it's about him because I remember you telling me specifically. We were talking about Christopher Walken years ago. I want to say like 9 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
We were driving somewhere and you told us this story of
I believe it
professor
was,
you had.
I believe it was a teacher of mine in college, and they went to maybe it was like Sundance. It was a film festival, definitely in colder type of weather.
Okay.
I think my professor was in the back of a auditorium watching a film, and it just had finished, and Christopher Walken had walked in the last like 5-10 minutes of the film, and he's kind of just sitting in the back. He's all dressed in black, got a long black trench coat, just looking like Christopher Walken. Mm-hmm. And this is, I don't know, maybe in the 90s or so, 80s or 90s. And Walken's already got that aura, that air around him that is Christopher Walken. Mm-hmm. And so he's like sitting back there, and I think my professor goes up and like strikes up a conversation with him, kind of talking back and forth, and just kind of casual stuff, nothing too like, I'm just a big fan of yours, nothing like that. And they're kind of talking a little bit back and forth. Walken's kind of in and out of the conversation, and then I believe midway through, like, one question, like he's asking, is like, my teacher's asking, have you been up to the city a lot? Have you gone over to the such and such place? Have you done this? And Walken's like, maybe, yeah. Do you know anywhere where I can score some pot? And I can't remember if my teacher's able to tell him, like, oh yeah, I do. But that was kind of it.
That was it.
That was it. Very small, very weird story.
May or may not be true.
May or may not be true. Probably isn't true. Or I may have forgotten the story too and completely wrapped it up in a different story in my head. You know, who the hell knows?
But hey, that's what happens with these Christopher Walken stories. It's a game of telephone.
It is. Just misinformation. We're spreading the misinformation.
Complete horse shit.
Right. Well, next week when we have him on, we'll have to talk to him and ask him about that.
Yeah, we're going to clear that up.
We'll clear that up. All right, so yeah, that about wraps it up. Do a special little shout out to Render Perfect Productions for lending us some sound equipment here. Check them out. They're a great video web marketing agency in Baltimore, Maryland. Check out their website, myrender.com. www.walkin101.com. Yeah, and if you want to help support us, please download these episodes. Give us reviews on iTunes. Subscribe to us on SoundCloud. Like us on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/
All sorts of
Walkin101. Go to our website as well. All of our information is on there, walkin101.com. Yeah, and please, like I said, just keep supporting this podcast. If you have a few dollars to spare, definitely go to Patreon, patreon.com/walkin101. Help keep the lights on.
help keep the engine running smoothly
Right,
around here.
because right now it's going off the rails.
It's sputtering.
Not really. We're slowly going insane.
Yeah.
This today was definitely one of those situations where I was like, oh man,
I'm questioning what we're doing.
What am I doing with my
the
life?
time that we're wasting.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's been all in fun. We're having a great time doing this at the same time. Having a great time. And I hope you guys are watching these films along with us. If you are, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. We'll end it now with our nice little segment. Thanks for walking with us.
Thank you.